Hello, welcome to part 2 of the course. And we're going to look at something called Take Notice. Just going to recap part 1. So what we've done is we've looked at resilience. We've tried to identify it and recognize what it is, and then we can examine the impact that it has. So far we haven't actually solved anything. What we've done is we've tried to break it down to recognize what it is. And we also looked at mental toughness, and we can see a couple of areas where we can start looking at some approaches we can start putting into place. So now I'm going to use something that's called Take Notice. It's one of the 5 steps to well-being, and we're going to look at how we can use Take Notice to help build resilience. Okay, so first of all we've got to do is, well, what is to take notice? What is actually taking notice? What does that mean? Why is it important to take notice? And how can we take notice, especially when we're under stress or worry? That's the harder bit, but achievable. Okay. Mind, a fantastic charity. Great, go and have a look at their website. There's lots of interesting stuff to read. Knowing about it, this lifelong learning means that you actually start developing a bit of mental resilience just by looking at them. So taking notice means actively bringing our mind's attention and interest to the world around us and ourselves. It is allowing us to see what is going on externally to us and what is happening within us. Taking notice means being present in the moment, observing what's beautiful or unusual in the world. It means being aware of our thoughts and feelings as they arise without getting lost in them. And it means savouring the moment, whether you're being active, connected with a friend, learning a new skill, or giving to another. Okay, so why is taking notice important? When we focus on past events and worry about them, it impacts, and we worry and we're concerned about what's going to happen in the future. And that will cause a negative effect on mental health. There are numerous studies which demonstrate a strong link between such worrying and common health conditions, including anxiety and depression. And this worry will often lead to stress, which will lead to more worrying about the future. So it develops into this downward spiral quite quickly. Okay, now evidence shows that taking a break from such thoughts is a benefit. And it's achieved by focusing on the present and developing a level of calmness which enhances mental health. So that's why it is important. It just gives us a break and relaxes us, and it stops some of that worry. Okay, now there is, I'll put some extra content on self-determination theory. You don't have to worry about it too much. I'm going to try to simplify it, but it's not easy, but it's quite complex, but it's important. Self-determination theory is quite complex, and too complex really for this presentation, but it is something which is useful to be aware of. Self-determination plays an essential role in psychological health and well-being. It is an important concept as it influences how individuals develop control over their lives and choices. When we are motivated to take action, we are then able to take control of our own choices. And following this presentation are 2 videos. The first one is very short, and I think you should all be able to watch that. And it provides a quick explanation. The second is a lot more in-depth, but you might wish to look at it, but please don't feel as though you have to. They're important because they're what are underlying some of the approaches that I'm going to be suggesting and building as we go. Okay, self-awareness. Self-awareness is being able to take notice of what is around us and what is happening now is a powerful step to strengthen and widen our self-awareness. So it's like develops a little bit of resilience because you've got a little bit of skill there. When we develop a better connection to what is around us, we also develop a better connection to ourselves, as well as becoming more aware of our own needs, values, and interests. 3 things that once we know about and we develop and enhance, we actually develop and enhance our resilience at the same time. It's interesting. So, self-awareness is a personal and internal thing. And to be really effective, it needs to be aligned to your personal values. Research has also shown that increasing self-awareness by taking notice benefits this change in behaviour. Once again, you'll find more information about this from Mind. What I'm going to try to suggest is it's going to be a lot easier to develop your mental resilience and mental toughness and mental strength when you start tying it down to what you personally are interested in. It's a lot easier to work on something that we have an interest in, and that means that some of the steps we're going to look at later will be different because everybody has a different set of skills or interests that they like. But try to make things particular to you. Okay, how? Taking notice is a mental activity and is something we can easily do during our daily, everyday life. The key, at first, is to take a moment or two to be aware of what you are doing. And it's easier to start by noticing things that are interesting you. So, here's some examples, but you might have a different thing to look at. So, step 1. When you look at something, such as a cloud or a car or an animal, look again and see what else you can see. Consider things such as the texture, colour, shape, reflections, etc., etc. So, when you look at a tree, okay, there's a tree. Okay, well, what sort of leaves on it? What are those colours of green? Does the light pay different attention? You know, the leaves will often look different colours depend upon the light that is upon them. And focus on that for a little bit. Step 2, take more than a moment, put some time to take notice. 5 minutes at first, then 10, and then a little bit more each day. So, very hard in our busy lives. But even if we just stop for a minute when we're crossing the road and we look at a car. Okay, there's a car. What type of car is it? What colour is it? Is it a new car? Is it an old car? You're asking yourself questions because all you're doing now is you're examining that car. Everything else is out of your mind. You're focusing on that. Okay, that's a half a minute. Then next time, a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Go for a walk. When you're walking somewhere, stop, think and look at something. Now then, that's the first step. Once you're able to do that, then you can start. You will step out of a situation. So if you're in a stressful situation, stop, breathe, look at something. Think what it is and just calm yourself down. Forget all of those thoughts just for a moment or two. Okay, so here are some things that we can do to develop this ability to take notice in stressful times by picking some things to do when we're not in a stressful time. Once you develop the skill, it's easier to use it when it's needed. So, put your phone down. Put your phone down for 5 minutes and just listen or look. Be close to nature. If you can, get out in the garden or just go for a walk. Look out the window, look at the sky. That's some of the clouds and the shapes and the movements. Have pictures of nature around the house. Quite often help you calm you down. Now then, this is where, if you remember, I said about making it particular to you, yeah? Your own personal value. So when I'm talking here about nature, that's one of the things that people will quite often connect to, but you might like particular images. You might like particular flowers, so you'll have those pictures. You might be really interested in trains. Well, have pictures of trains. Take something that's particular to you and makes you happy and have pictures of those around the house. Use your 5 senses to notice things. Don't just look. Look, smell, listen, touch, taste. Taking notice could be stopping and breathing. Instead of eating in the rush, sit down and enjoy your food. Think about what it tastes like. Think about, what else could I put in it? What else could I put in this to make this taste nicer? Hang on a minute. Learning. Close your eyes and notice what you can hear. Here, one of my favourites is just listen to your favourite music. We listen to music in a rush. You know, when I was young, we used to listen to whole albums, and we don't do that anymore. Well, actually, have a cup of coffee, sit down. If you can't listen to the whole LP, or LP, you can spot my age, or the whole CD, listen to 1 or 2 of your favourite tracks with a cup of coffee, and just enjoy it. Try a new food. Notice how it tastes, smells and feels. Now, one of my favourites And it helps because my shed, my office, is in the garden next to the bird feeder. Open the window, just listen to the animals and birds outside. Try it. It will help. Now then, and I'll post this PowerPoint up on the Moodle site as well. So Mind Take Notice. So there's a nice little website you can go and look at. And if you're particularly interested, this article from the American Psychologist that goes into depth on self-determination. Okay, that's it for this section. And I'll see you soon.